Parshat Behar, second to last Torah portion in the book of Vayikra, um, is full of rules, and it begins with the rules of Shemitah. And what I want to point to, what I want to emphasize, is that um, Shemitah, the rule that we're supposed to work the land for 6 years and let the land lie fallow, was inoperative for 2,000 years or so of wandering, because the rules of Shemitah only apply in the land of Israel, now the state of Israel. And there is great debate, actually, because the biblical outline of the land of Israel is different than the political boundaries of the state of Israel. So that's a place of great tension. But the reason why I share this with you now is because somehow the way that it evolved over time, um, I think there's a way of connecting it to our world in a hope-inducing way. So when did Shemitah become a question again in modern Judaism? In 1889. 1889 was the first Shemitah cycle with a significant enough Jewish population in the land of Israel again, returning there, where the question of Shemitah became important, especially because the economy of that struggling new yishuv, the foundation of a state, required economic strength, and farming was one of the ways. So Rav Kook, the chief Ashkenazi rabbi of pre-State of Israel, British Mandate Palestine, it's a mouthful, issued the ruling that you could sell the land, heter mechira, so that when it was worked, it wouldn't be Jewish land that was being worked. In a way, he superseded the rules of Torah, knowing that the needs of the moment were more important. I want to say that again because it's a radical thing, and for us to understand that that is something incredibly radical and sometimes necessary, Rav Kook in 1889 ruled against the Torah's commandment. Now, not phrased exactly that, and his technique was ingenious because it was a way of working around the rules. It didn't say Torah no, yes, selling the land, but it basically showed that the prioritization was of communal welfare. And the rules of Torah, while operative, were not more important than the needs of the community of Torah. Very powerful. Let me only pause to say, Deborah, mazel tov to your family that I'll just say it your way, your younger son's girlfriend completed her conversion studies, went to Beit Din and Mikveh yesterday. Mazel tov. Mazel tov to all of us. So Rav Kook basically said what Rosa just said, people first. So powerful. That's well said. And what's really interesting about that is he's not the first in Jewish history to do such a thing, to make such a radical move, because after all, one of the rules of Shemitah, in the cycle of Shemitah, that's 7 years, 7 cycles of 7 made the Yovel, the 59th year and the 50th year, a day of release. And that day of release actually was also a forgiving of debt. So if you owed money to someone, when the Yovel year happened, you didn't owe anyone anything. And that is incredibly complicated because what it basically did is people stopped loaning other people money. And that also hurt, especially very vulnerable people. Think about the positive impact of microloans or the Hebrew Free Loan Society. With loans, more things are possible, and you can actually begin to gain some capital and then have independence. So what happened? Hillel Hazaken, a sage who was like a proto-rabbi, they weren't quite rabbis yet, but he issued a takana. He issued a ruling that we call prosbul. Prosbul is the word for it. If you're looking for a new word to know, it's a combination of Greek and ancient Hebrew, prosbul. The prosbul was a way of continuing the obligation of a debt, even though the Torah said that there was a forgiving of debts. Again, Hillel put people first, superseding in many ways, through an ingenious legal device, superseding a rule of Torah for the sake of human welfare, to make society work. There are times, friends, where we need to juggle our priorities. We need to figure out how to put people first. I'm watching, and I'm sure you are too, the great protests that have reignited within the state of Israel about what to do right now. What to do right now. The Hostage Family Forum has made very clear its priority, which is people first. Get them home, bring them home now. We have been shouting and praying and marching and lobbying and activating and teaching this priority, the prioritization of people, of people. Shemitah and Yovel are interesting examples of how you can have the purity of laws, and they stand for beautiful things: letting the land lie fallow, treating the earth with respect, forgiving debts so that people who are just burdened and burdened and burdened with generational indebtedness can become free. That's actually its own form of justice work too. But if it doesn't work and it ends up hurting people because of the way the rules have been applied, it is time to rethink the strategy. And both Hillel Hazaken over 2,000 years ago and Rav Kook in 1889 embodied the best of what radical traditionalism means: to prioritize people, because Torah should not ever be more important than the people it leads. We must, in every generation, have the bravery to remember that we are part of Torah too. The language one of my teachers, Rabbi Eli Spitz, uses, and I think it is brilliant language, is that we are willing to do explicitly what was largely implicit in the Torah, in history. We try to use precedent whenever possible, but when we cannot, morality is the most important part of a halachic decision, of Jewish tradition. Our values are always about putting people first. The Torah teaches us that. And as students of Torah, sometimes that means we need to say to the Torah, we need to make a different decision right now. Now, that's a radical act. I'm not suggesting abandonment of Torah, God forbid, but I am suggesting that what we need to do is always, always be willing to stand mid-course and rethink a strategy so that we can make good decisions on behalf of the people who always must come first. That is why we begin and end every broadcast for the last 231 days with "Bring Them Home Now." Nothing is more important than bring them home now. People first. Hillel Hazaken, when he created the Prose Bowl so that vulnerable people could be loaned money still. And Rav Kook, who said that the founding of the state, the Jewish community in the Yishuv in British Mandate Palestine, would need to be able to sell crops even if there's a rule of Shemitah. Always, Torah teaches us people first. Adrian asks, Torah has always evolved. Why is this such a radical concept? My answer, my friend, is that I think some people believe that the Torah's rules, either divinely ordained or human inspired, are eternal and unchangeable. But we are an alive people, always have been and always must be. And especially in this moment, for the sake of our people, so that they can be alive. We, our family, can be alive. And so that we can remain compassionate and Palestinian civilians who are in harm's way, and it's complicated to make this claim, but who are not at all the terrorists wielding guns. For the sake of their humanity too, somehow there has to be a way to put people first. I have deep faith in our people to retain our values even when under such extreme pressures. I have faith in us. It's hard. This moment is a hard one, but we have to retain our values, because after all, we received these rules, it says in this parsha, at Sinai. At Sinai. So I wish us deep strength. I wish us the radical bravery it takes to stand mid-course and to think about our strategies. How do we make sure that people always come first? May we be blessed to find a way. That's who we are. It's who we're supposed to be. Who we should be proud to teach our children to be. Always put people first. Liam, Ben, it's good to see you, my friends. Sending you a special hug for Good Shabbos. Let's take a moment. If I could ask you just to close your eyes and send your heart to the east. Think about our people. Put them first too. Am Yisrael Chai. Let's sing. Kolon baleva v'nima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia. O lo avda tikvatenu, hatikva bat shnot alpayim, liot am choshi be'artzenu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim, liot am choshi be'artzenu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. Shabbat Shalom, friends. See you on Monday. Take care.